There have also been 100,000 Iranians volunteer to go to Gaza to help. They'll never get there. But the Iranian Navy is allegedly going to escort these aid ships right to Gaza. This is a direct challenge, of course, to the thermonuclear power Israel, and we will see. This could ignite the whole thing. We'll see. But very, very important story nonetheless. Again, Saudi prince denied it several hours yesterday after the story broke. The story is still running around. I don't have a final disposition on what exactly the Saudi government is or is not going to do. I just want to let my listeners know that.
Well, about a year and a half ago, Jeff, when I had the privilege of being on your show, I had just been told by this 87-year-old elitist friend of mine that they would not have war with Iran for 2 to 2.5 years. You'll remember that you asked me back about 4 or 5 months ago. I had just talked with this gentleman again before he went to Seattle for some malignant problems he had. Mm-hmm. And he had told me at that time that they did not want war with Iran for 1 year. Now, that's about 4 to 5 months ago. It's time. They do have war planned with Iran. Mm-hmm. It's planned. It's in the works. They are going to be able to keep their timetable. So here's what I did. I had to. I had no choice. I have prepared a documentary. Everything that's happening in the Gulf with the oil disaster, what they plan to do as a result of it. I'm just looking at my notes right here now. It would take at least 2 hours. I've only covered a fraction of what I've got in front of me. I beg of you, will you please get the documentary that I have just prepared for your listening? I prepared it only 3 days ago, and it is now available. In fact, I have operators standing by tonight. There's some people that are so concerned that I get this message out that they've even been willing to work as long as necessary tonight to be able to take your calls. Will you please get my 6 DVD set, and will you please get the new documentary that I just prepared 3 days ago for you to know everything that the elitists have told me, and only about half of that have I even had time to give to you tonight because of lack of time, and Jeff has been so gracious. Will you please call our toll-free number, 888-799-6111, or go to prophecyclub.com. Now, spell that with a C, prophecyclub.com, or our toll-free number with operators standing by right now, 888-799-6111, Gulf of Mexico oil disaster. Now, let me tell you where oil's going. John Hofmeister, former president of Shell Oil, who wrote the book Why We Hate the Oil Companies, he said, while we dream about new energy systems that is decades in the future, the prices that consumers will have to pay for things like gasoline, electricity, diesel could skyrocket. Prices could go to the point where food income and low-income people are simply taken out of the personal mobility marketplace, which would be a shock, unnecessary. You want to know why he says it? He said, if the President of the United States of America continues on his plan of not allowing offshore drilling, and by the way, he has already said no more permits are going to be allowed for deep wells offshore anywhere. Here's what Hofmeister says. People don't want oil washing up on their beaches, whether it's in the Gulf of Mexico or Florida, maybe. Mm-hmm. Do you think that Americans, public, is going to say, we don't want drilling in offshore? He said, okay, if you don't want it, except, you ready for the price? Here it is, except $6 to $8 per gallon at the gas pump in the not-too-distant future. If our government continues on its plan, can you imagine what will happen to the airlines? What will happen? They'll need to nationalize every one of these.
Yeah.
Just like they've done with Chrysler and General Motors. I mean, they want an excuse to take them over. And this will be their opportunity to do it because now none of them will be able to operate. An airline cannot fly on that price of fuel. They're already in such a cramped position right now. The elite have plans to do everything, whether it be your Social Security, your retirement, the price of gold and silver, I've already told you where that was going. The elitists told me back 2 years ago that the price of gold was going to go through the roof, and it's done exactly what he said it would do. Now war with Iran is imminent, almost it looks like. He said we've got 6 more months. What will happen to the dollar? Every bit of this is in the report that I have given, that this elitist friend gave to me, along with our very latest one, the documentary on the Gulf of Mexico oil disaster. And, Jeff, I don't know how to say enough that people need to set their spiritual house in order. Folks, you've got to get things lined up. Don't wait any longer to do anything that you're going to do, because we are at a position right now that if they don't stop the flow of that oil, which they say they cannot do for at least 3 to 4 months.
We keep talking about Christmas.
He said, Chaplain, even if we plant a nuclear device, we've got to angle drill, get down into that before we can plant it. And he said that will be 3 to 4 months in advance in the future before they can even consider the possibility of trying to stop this with a nuclear device. And if that nuclear device doesn't work and they fracture that shelf even more, nobody even wants to think about what.
How can it not? Look at the amount of displaced oil and gas that has been released from that cavity, however big that dome may be. That's a space that has to be filled with something. Whether it's more oil and gas, I don't know. Do you want to take a chance with a nuclear warhead, a shaped charge? Low radioactivity, I'm not particularly concerned about that. But what if it caves in? It just drops the whole thing down. The geology just gives way. And then that pressure just skyrockets right through the rubble, the fractured geology, and we have black oceans and black rain and black death. Not a pretty picture. Lindsey, give the phone number again, please.
His friend said to me, he said, we are afraid of what might happen if we use a nuclear device. Well, he said it's the only method of stopping it.
Yeah, well, he's darn well right, in my opinion, but it is, at this point, it does seem to be the only way that this is eventually going to be tried to stem the flow. Give the phone number again, please, Lindsey.
Toll free, 888-799-6111, or on the web, PROPHECY, club, CLUB.com. Prophecy is spelled with a C, and you can go there now if you wish, and operators are standing by now. Jeff, thank you for allowing me the privilege of being on your show.
Of course, my friend. Thank you for doing what you do, and I'm here. Just let me know, and you want to come back on again with more information. The door is open always. Lindsey Williams with the latest, and we'll be back.